let's dive right in. A couple of weeks ago, I got to go to the Vegas Valley Book Festival here in Las Vegas, and there were tons of YA authors there. And this first book was written by someone who actually wasn't at the conference, but so many of the authors there talked about her and about this series of books. And the first book is by Holly Black. It is called White Cat. It is the first book in the Curse Worker series, and just based on the recommendations that I got from different authors, I'm really super excited about reading these books. On a side note, I just want to say that I got this book at a library sale, so very excited about that deal. 1/4, 25 cents, people. The next couple of books that I'm going to talk about are two books that I have just heard the buzz about quite a lot. So I'm really hoping that they live up to the hype. The first one is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. And Maggie, I'm sorry because I'm sure that I just slaughtered your name there, and as someone who has an unusual name, I really hate that, so sorry about that. This book sounds really cool. Really all I know about it is that it's about a girl who's been told all of her life that she will kill her true love or something along those lines. So yeah. But the thing I've heard the most about it is that it's so fantastically great, so here's hoping that it is. The next book that I've heard quite a lot of buzz about is by an author who was actually at the book festival, and she was very lovely. Her name is Marissa Meyer, and the book is called Cinder, and it is a reimagining of Cinderella, and over again. Like I said before, I've heard so many great things about these two books. So this is the first in a trilogy, and as well as The Raven Boys as well, so I'm hoping that these first books are really good so that I'll have 4 more books to read after these. Like 2 in each series, basically. So the next book is a book that I found on Amazon, just kind of like piddling around, basically. Because that's what I do, people. You know, when I'm not writing and I'm wasting time, I spend my time on the internet. And I was on Amazon looking for books, and this popped up and looked really interesting. It's called Incarceron, and it's by Catherine Fisher. Get a good look. And it just sounded really interesting, the description did. So it's basically about this boy who wakes up in a prison called Incarceron, and he doesn't know how he got there or why he's there. He doesn't remember. And so he decides he's going to escape. He makes this connection with the warden's daughter, and she agrees to help him. But there's something really unique about this prison, and the tagline's really cool. It says, "The prison is alive." So basically, Incarceron, the prison, is alive, so they're trying to escape, and it's like the prison is moving and changing and growing, and no one has ever been able to escape from this place. So it sounded very interesting, so Incarceron. Okay, this next book, I'm almost ashamed to say that I haven't read it yet, and it's the first book that I've started reading out of all these books, and I can't believe that I haven't read this book before, and it is City of Bones, the first in the Mortal Instruments series by Cassandra Clare. Yeah, they've already made it into a movie, so that alone should tell you that I'm like way late to this party. But I saw the preview for the movie when I went to see Breaking Dawn, Part 2, and the preview looked amazing, and so far the book's pretty good. I'm about 100 pages in. Okay, so the next 3 books are a part of my fantastical secondhand shop find, and they are the first 3 books in the Iron Fae series. Here they are. Aren't they beautiful? I paid a whopping 50 cents a piece for these books, people. So I'm always excited about a deal. So this is the perfect, you know, kind of example of like books that I would buy at a secondhand shop that I might not necessarily buy anyplace else. But I'll buy them because they're a great deal. They sounded interesting, so that was good enough for me. And they are The Iron King, The Iron Daughter, and The Iron Queen. Like I said, the first 3 books in this series about a fae king, a fairy king, and about this young kind of high school girl who doesn't realize that her dad, who disappeared years ago, is a fairy king. And so then all of a sudden she's thrust into this world, and there's a war that's going on, and she's got to help her father, and it sounded really kind of intriguing to me, so I was very, you know, kind of excited to get them for such a steal. One really cool thing that happened as well is I was on Amazon. A lot of my stories start like that, don't they? But yes, I was on Amazon looking at books, and I was reading the description of a book that I was like, oh, that sounds really interesting. And then as I went further in to look at the book, I realized that it's a part of this series. So I thought that was kind of cool that I had managed to snag the first 3 books for kind of a steal. Okay, this next book is a book that a lot of people probably read in school. It's The Giver by Lois Lowry. And yeah, I never had to read this book in school, but I was in the used bookstore the other day and I saw it. It was $3.50, and I thought I should buy it. And yeah, so I did. The Giver. And the last actual physical book that we can touch and hold that I purchased in my book haul is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. And I've seen this movie, you guys, and it's such a good movie. So good. So I'm excited to read the book. There's little recipes in the book too. Like, it's broken into little things, which is kind of cool. And there's like little recipes inside of each chapter. But it's basically about a girl who falls in love with this boy, but because of her family tradition, they can never get married. And so what he does to be near her is he marries her sister. And they all live together in this big house because this is what they did back in the day, whatever. So she lives in the house with her mom and this boy that she loves who's married to her sister. And there's all this kind of drama. And there's recipes in the book because one of the kind of quirky things in the story is that she cooks, and as she cooks, she puts her emotion into whatever she cooks. So when people eat her food, they experience whatever emotion she was experiencing as she cooked it. So she's feeling really passionate about this boy that she loves, you know, that she can never be with, and people experience that passion as they eat her cooking. So really kind of fascinating, great story, fantastic movie. There are subtitles, I will warn you, but really, really good. So, okay, next guys, I'm breaking out the ebooks. I'm breaking out my Amazon Kindle. Okay, the first book that I got on my Kindle is Celebrity in Death, which is a part of the In Death mystery series by J.D. Robb. For those of you who don't know, J.D. Robb is actually Nora Roberts. So Nora Roberts is a really famous romance writer, and she writes these mystery books under the name J.D. Robb. And they're futuristic, they're really, really good, and I swear there's like 50 million books in this series. But it's one of those series that it doesn't matter. Like, she puts out 2 every year, and they're books that I buy no matter what. Just because I love the series, I love the characters. So, okay, the next book I got is called Onyx. It's the second in the Luck series by Jennifer Armentrout, and it's a fantastic series so far. I haven't read this book yet, but the first book was really great. All I'm going to say is that there's aliens and there's kissing, and it's really, really good. And the way she writes her like male like characters, she's just really good at that. Really, really good. I mean, like, the male character in this book is basically like Damon Salvatore Jr., and that is not a bad thing. So yeah, we're very excited to read this next book in the series. And really great price for an ebook. I think it was $2.99, so that's always a good thing. Okay, and the last book that I got on my e-reader is Bitter Blue by Kristen Cashore. And Bitter Blue is the last in a fantasy series. The first book is Graceling, which was fan-freaking-tastic. The second book was Fire, which was really good as well, and I'm very excited to read the last book in the series, Bitter Blue. I would say, even if you don't like fantasy or sci-fi or anything like that, this series is for you. I promise. Like, for non-fantasy lovers even, Graceling was such a great book. And I would say don't count it out just because it's fantasy, or just because you're saying, oh, I don't want to like fantasy, I'm not going to like it. You should try it anyway. Trust me, people. If you guys have read any of the books that I've talked about today, I would love if you would leave me a comment down below and let me know whether you liked it or whether you didn't like it. That way I can maybe figure out, you know, what book to start with next after I'm done reading City of Bones. And that's it for me today, you guys. Thanks so much for checking out my first book haul. Bye.